see Albert reminds me of back when I was in high school. Okay, so people call me Albert. But anyway, a little bit about who I am. I'm a marriage and family therapist by profession. I became a therapist back in 1971. That's a long time before most of us were born. And I'm an old guy. I'll be turning 77 here in a few more months. I'm married to my wife, Julia. We've been married this summer for 55 years. We have 6 kids and 16 grandkids. And taking all my knowledge, I was born and raised on a reservation in northern Arizona. I'm half Hopi and half Navajo. I'm a product of boarding school. I went to boarding school like most of the people my age. So if I say something wrong, say a word in English that's wrong, please don't blame me. Blame the Bureau of Indian Affairs, okay? Anyway, I've also had the opportunity of teaching at 3 universities. And there's a common theme, what they call evidence-based. And if it's evidence-based, they say it must work because it's evidence-based. Well, a lot of the theories and modalities of treatment that have been presented to Native people, they're evidence-based. What that really means is that it's been tested and showed evidence that it works in a different environment. Let's say here in New York City. Let's say here in New York it's square, okay? You take this square theory because it works here, and you transplant it in Arizona or in South Dakota, where it says it's round. There's a lot of good things in this square box, but you take it to an audience that is unfamiliar with it, and it doesn't quite fit. It doesn't quite work. So we just jam it. Can you hear me? Better? Okay. So we take this square theory and we try to transplant it into a round audience. It doesn't quite fit, so we just jam it. And what happens is this. Because the results may not be what we expected, we blame the people. See, they're the reasons. We never examine and say to ourselves, what am I doing that is wrong? Am I doing something wrong that's not working? We never do that. It's always the people. Just imagine if you went to a dentist 33 times and the same problems. At some point you should begin to question, is that dentist know what he's doing? But we never do. Because he has a degree on the wall that says he knows what he's doing. I'm going to say a few things that are really controversial. One thing I want to say right now is this. Sometimes many of the professional therapists are just as messed up as their clients are. They are. But because I have a degree, we think that they're right. Well, at some point we have to begin to examine. What are we doing as practitioners, as helpers? What are we doing? Are we really helping the cause? So, bear with me now. I'm sure I've developed this presentation. Okay. You can read along. And if you want this PowerPoint, you can have it at the end of the class, at the end of the session. Life is beautiful and can be glorious. That's what life can be. It is a great opportunity to learn the lessons of life from both positive and negative experiences. Unfortunately, learning can't always be happy. It is often bittersweet. You know what I'm talking about. It's always happy. Pain is more about change. Let me see what I mean by that. Pain is part of the healing process. Let's say I have a bad toothache. Let's say I know I have a need to get my teeth worked out. I don't go to the dentist until the pain really hits me, and then I go to the dentist. So there's a reason for pain. Sometimes our hearts are so broken, then we go seek help. So there's a reason for pain is just to remind us that we need to change. Healing is more about learning and understanding, not knowing. In the field of addictions, you can talk to a person who's addicted to, let's say, alcohol, and you say to him, you're really hurting your family. Let's say, I know. You should get a job. I know. You should stop drinking. I know. They do know a lot of things. People do know a lot of things, but they don't understand. They don't understand that they know a lot. So I remind our people this. What are the characteristics of the Creator God? He understands us perfectly. That's why He gives us so many chances to change. So knowledge is not all that. When you understand, is what happens. When you understand, you don't judge. You don't condemn. Why? Because you understand. You have more patience. You have more tolerance. Why? Because you understand. This means you condone or agree to that behavior means you understand it. So understanding is really what healing is all about. To understand, not to know. When you understand those are some of the characteristics that come about. Understanding. Understand this. Healing is a process. It is not a thing. It's a process of restoring yourself to becoming a healthy and whole person. It's a very long process. Healing is much more than feeling better or surviving. Some people say, I'm a survivor. Anybody can survive. I was walking last night back from dinner, and there was people sleeping on the streets. And they're surviving. They're not living, they're surviving. A lot of people are just surviving. They're not living. Let's teach you how to live. Not just to survive. Healing is change, often learning how to live again. And that can become scary. There is always hope for the future that comes from healing. Hope. There's always the opportunity to learn, grow, and progress from healing. Healing teaches us to have a deeper understanding of life and ourselves. Now, we all need healing. We all need healing. Suffering from depression and anxiety. Let me give you an example what I mean by that. Can I have somebody, that's my time, that's pretty good. I've never seen one of those before. That's pretty good. Can I have you come here? Up here? Yeah. But you look at it, sit right here. Thank you. Now, if I put your name? Your name? John. John. Okay, John. Thank you, John. Let's say I do this to John. I push John down. I hold him back. That's called oppression. When I push him down and hold him back. He wants to get up, but I keep pushing him down. And as they get stronger, I put all my weight on him just to control him. I oppress him. Now let's say I'm out of his life. I'm no longer in his life anymore. Okay? Because he's been oppressed for so many years, he just sits there. Because that's what he's familiar with. Now, how to punish depression? Because he's been oppressed for so long, depression is more about his past. His past. Anxiety, I can't do that. I wish I could. Anxiety is more about his future. Not because he's bad, not because he's dumb or stupid. No, because he's been oppressed. Now understand this. Governments can oppress you. Religions can oppress you. Traditions can oppress you. Even mom and dad can oppress you. Oppression is about power and control. And some people are drunk with power and control. They are. Now, so again, when he's been oppressed, it's easy for him to fall into a state of depression about his past. It's easy for him to have a state of anxiety in his future. Thank you. Make sense?
Thank you.
Okay. I'm trying to make things very basic here. Now, the healing of pain and rejection. I've been in a lot of prisons. I love going to prisons. And there's two kinds of people who are in prison. Keeping it simple here. One kind of person in prison, this is the majority of people who are in prison. There's good men and women who are in prison. But they are unfamiliar with a good life. They've never had a good life. They were born into violence. They were born into addictions. They were born into chaos. So they don't know what a happy, good, safe life is. They're not unfamiliar with it. I you in this room, we all know what a helicopter is. Do anybody know how to fly a helicopter? Anybody know how to fly a helicopter in this room? Nobody knows how? This means you're stupid or dumb. You just don't have the opportunity to learn how to fly a helicopter. That's all. So we got to make you familiar with how you can do that. And so in prison, I say most people aren't here because they are unfamiliar with good life. They've never had it. Another kind of person in prison is they were born into a good family. You know what they did? They purposely turned their back to goodness. They turned their back and look where they're at. So again, most people have been rejected. I never tell someone that they're sick. Never tell them that they're sick. I see what most people have been. Most people have been hurt. And when you've been hurt, if you don't take care of that hurt, it quickly turn to anger. And people have a lot of anger issues, not because they're bad, because they've been hurt, and that hurt has never been dealt with adequately. If you don't take care of that anger, it turns to resentment. Get out of my face, leave me alone, I'm out of here. If you don't take care of that resentment, it can turn into hatred and revenge. And at that point, you start to hold hands with the devil. Because anything is possible. Hatred and revenge. There's one final stage, I tell them, and that's called evil. Now, evil is not a thought. It's not an idea. It's a mindset. It's a mindset of, I want to destroy you. I want to bring you down at any cost. And they'll learn a lot of good tactics. Like they can be very nice to you and stab you in the back. I want to prepare my people to understand and to recognize evil because it is out there. And people that say it isn't, that's a lie. Okay, now, what people have when you've been rejected is it hurts. Okay? Loneliness and isolation. When you're lonely, you know what? You'll sell yourself for a penny on the dollar. Because you're going to connect, you're going to feel you have a sense of belonging. Loneliness is very, very powerful. Loss of a loved one due to divorce or death. You know what? Divorce sometimes can be more difficult to accept than death. It's true. I'm a marriage and family therapist. I know what I'm talking about. If you're the one that was left behind, I counsel you one way. If you left somebody else, I counsel you a different way. But loneliness is dependent. If you were left behind, a lot of things happen. This is probably a relapse of addiction. Broken heart due to any relationship, abandonment, neglect, abuse, family health, terminal illness, hard times, crisis. So we all need healing. Am I making sense so far? Yes. All right. The process of healing is a process. A person must truly feel the need to heal. That's the beauty of pain. You would really feel a need to heal. You can have this presentation if you want it. You don't have to. You can have it just that valid healing. Healing is not a one-time cure, fix, or event. It's a process. You got to go through. Healing can be a lifelong process of growth, learning, and understanding. Healing will hurt and have pain associated with it. Pain should never be wasted. It must go towards your building our character and integrity. What I mean by that? Some of my best facilitators, people, we have over close to 3,000 throughout the country, North America. And you know what? We have never received one dime from the federal government. We're a nonprofit organization. We have never received one dime from the federal government. We've never received any money from any state government. The tribes are buying our services on their own. You know why? Because I say, this is your message. All I'm bringing back is an old message, and you're recognizing the message. That's all it is. And I want to take this message international. I'd love to have you, somebody help me do that. Now, back to this. Oh, I'm covering right on. Some of my best facilitators have had tough lives. They're felons. I've had a couple of people have committed murder. They've been divorced 2 or 3 times. They've had their children taken away from them. I tell them, I'm going to remind you something. You have paid a very, very high price for where you've been. You paid a high price. And I don't want to pay that price. But every experience cannot be wasted because you paid a high price for it. Let me teach you how to use your experience. because you paid a high price, or maybe you're still paying for it. Let's teach you how to use it. In college, we used to have this word called empathy. It's a word, oh, I love empathy. I feel what you're feeling. But that's not good enough. There's a word that's better than that. It's called compassion, which includes empathy. But compassion gives you the desire and motivation to do something about it. Not just to feel it, but to actually do something about it. Compassion. And people who have paid a high price from their life experiences have compassion. They're phenomenal. I'm not kidding. Because they'll learn how to use that experience. All right, let's keep on going. Trauma. In response to a deeply distressful or disturbing event, it can also be a series of experiences that often overpowers a person's ability to cope with the feelings of helplessness, emotional pain, or even the fear of death. We all have trauma, different kinds of trauma. But again, that trauma has to work for you because you paid for it. Now, trauma is what happens. When you don't work for you, this is what trauma can do. It destroys your logic or reason. You can't reason things out. It takes away hope and invites hopelessness and discouragement. That's what trauma can do. It causes confusion, uncertainties, and misunderstanding. Okay? I hear Bill on that door in case something's happening. Traumatized people may have fear, doubt, just sense of failure, shame, guilt, sorrow, a wide range of feelings. These are real feelings from trauma. Now, trauma, we all experience trauma. How do we deal with it? Now, let me explain that idea. Let's look at a little piece of paper. Look at a little piece of paper. This is a small piece. This is a small piece.
Just a small?
Yep, small font. There you go. There. Let's have somebody come up here. This guy is very studious. Come up here. I heard you briefly. What's your name again? Kimberly. Let's say I want you to become a strong person. Okay, Kimberly. And I give you this piece of paper. Take that. That's what Kimberly's going to use to become strong. Is that going to work?
I don't see how.
Why? Why won't that work?
It's too small.
It's too small and it's too light. Okay, she just didn't have no. Now put that down. Now put your arm out like this. Now try to lift me up.
Okay, here we go.
Harder. Yeah. Now, I can feel the stress in her arm. I can feel it in her back. It's the stress. You know what? That's what makes her strong. It's the resilience. Makes her resilient. It's the stress and pressure of life that makes her strong. This will never do it. You know what? Thank you. Making sense? I tell my people that want us to become dependent on you. They'll make you think like, you need my help. You're stronger than you even realize. My job is to help you understand just how strong and resilient you really are. And you're stronger. Some of you, should tell them, should have been dead 20 years ago. You're still around. Why? There's a reason for that. You're stronger than you realize. But when people talk about historical trauma, that kind of trauma, like, poor me. No. Life was never meant to be easy, fair, or comfortable. We got to make it that way. And we can't expect someone to bring it to us. I'm from the reservation. And you can go to any Native American reservation, and once you cross that reservation line, you know you're on the reservation. Why? Because the government had made us dependent on them. They give us housing, they give us health care, they give us education, they give us roads, they give us everything. So, and what they do, they control us because they've given us everything. And we don't know that. Oh boy, in Native America, we love, eat, treat, sleep government. They have provided for us. They made us dependent. I don't want any woman to become dependent on any man to become dependent on any woman. Be dependent on yourself and the Creator, and that's it. Now, and I'm not a preacher either, okay? Every race, every culture, every family, every society has experienced trauma. Everybody has. That's part of the life, people. That's part of the life. We become a victim when we feel we have experienced trauma. And people walk around, blame everybody but themselves. Often we are taken advantage of when we believe we're a victim. And yes, I'm sorry about that. I was going to show that phone. That's just parasitic stuff. I'm hooked up with you, but that's not. I'm sorry about that, people. I'm trying to stay on. Keep this off. I gotta turn off. Okay. Now, healing requires 4 elements. It requires, number 1, courage. Because this can be frightening to look at our problems. It can be scary. Now, when I work with people, I work with a number of things. I want them to become good, decent people. Okay? Become good, decent, honorable people. Why? When you become a good, decent, honorable person, what you're doing, you are actually preparing yourself for change. You're developing courage. And courage doesn't come from a book. It comes from hard work and effort. Because you know what? If you really change, you gotta have courage to look at your pains that may get you. Courage is the first thing to heal. You can't be drunk or high and expect to heal. It can't happen. Understanding beliefs. And you understand what you believe. You good beliefs, you bad beliefs. Like people believe, I'm no good. I can't change. Those are bad beliefs. I remind people, let me tell you something. I have somebody else come up here. Which one? Yeah. What's your name?
Lynn.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Lynn. I asked them, Lynn, where do you come from?
My parents.
Okay, well, where else? New Jersey. New Jersey. Okay, good old New Jersey. Let me ask you, let me help you identify where you come from. You come from right or wrong? You come from a great people, all right? A great people, am I right?
Yes.
A great history, am I right?
Yes.
A great family, am I right?
Yes.
Yes. This woman, she may have been born in New Jersey, but she comes from greatness. She comes from a great history, a great people, a great culture. She comes from greatness. If she comes from greatness, it is her job to return back to becoming a great person again. Now, my job is to help her understand where she comes from. And you sit down. Years ago, I had this woman. We went to a little meeting, and she was a Caucasian lady. She had nice blonde hair, and she got in the room, all of it was Native Americans in that room. And she got up and she introduced herself, and she said, the next thing she said was this: I'm sorry, I'm not Native American. And she gave a really good presentation. The next day we came back to staff meeting. He said, how did I do, Mr. Pooley? I said, you did good. I was very, but I said, I was very disappointed in you. She said, what did I do? I said, first of all, I want you to understand you have insulted your parents. You've insulted your grandparents. You've insulted your forefathers. So what did I do? I said, you apologize for your race. When you apologize for your race, your culture, you have insulted your family, you have insulted your forefathers. Nobody has that right. Be proud of who you are. If you have green skin, be proud of it. Don't apologize for it. Because if you really understand, someday you will understand the sacrifices your forefathers gave for you, their posterity. They suffered and sacrificed not for you to apologize for who you are. My staff knows that. If they apologize because they're not Native American, I will publicly embarrass them.
so they'll never ever do that again. Be proud of who you are and understand something. You come from greatness, and that's exactly where you come from. Am I making sense? I'm sick and tired of people saying, well, you're not this, you're not that. No, you're not. I want you to become a good, decent, honorable person. That's what we need working with our people. You gotta have faith and forgiveness. The real miracle of life, as you will be taught, is not something great that's happened for you. The real miracle of life is called forgiveness. Courage. And you know what? It took me 3 hours just to write that little statement up there. Courage is a choice. It's a choice and willingness to confront pain, fear, danger, and hardship and other life's uncertainties in spite of our fears. We all will have fears. That's why courage is so critical. Courage is a vital and necessary part of healing. No courage, no healing. Because we're always going to lie to ourselves, blaming everybody for our mistakes. Courage starts the healing process. Courage is required to move forward when we are afraid. It takes courage to be honest and learning the truth about ourselves, regardless of what needs to change. It takes real commitment to learn the truth and to change. One of the things our program does is they ask people, do you really want to change? Do you really want to change? And they say yes. Then if you're really going to change, you have to be a lover of truth. You must love the truth. Because lies will never make you change. Deception won't do it either. Our secrets. When there's lies, deception, and secrets, there is always corruption. Always. Let's say a husband lies to his wife. Deception, and he keeps secrets from her. You can promise her that something's not right. Okay. So again here, over here. Healing begins. If you really want to heal, you must be a lover of truth. Now remember, science can lie to you, religions can lie to you, traditions can lie to you, even your own parents can lie to you. So you must have a desire to find the truth. Let me give you an example of my own tradition. Half and half, one and a half hope. The Navajos are afraid of the dead. If you go through our reservation, if you see a hogan or a trailer or a house that's been abandoned, chances are somebody died in that place and they just abandoned it. All these traditions, superstitions come on. So they abandoned it. But my grandmother one year, she was about 90 years old. And she got very, very sick. We took her to the hospital, Indian hospital, government hospital. They checked her out really good for a day or so, and they said, there's nothing wrong with her. She's just probably going to die. She said, oh, is she going to die? So my grandmother did not want to die in the hospital. She wanted to go home and die. So we took her home, but you know what? Her sons, they wouldn't put her in the house she built with her husband. They wouldn't put her in their house. Why? Because if she died, they would have to abandon it. So they built a little summer shed outside for her. So we brought her home, they put her in the summer shed, not in the house. Because of tradition. Guess what? My grandmother didn't die for 3 more years. It's true. She stayed in that little summer shed, we put a little stove in there, I didn't enslave her, but they wouldn't put her in her own house. Traditions can lie to you, and I say people as God, people are already traditional. If traditions do not put us strengthen and improve our families, what good are they? Kick them out and start new traditions that do. Don't hide behind traditions. If they're good, yes, embrace them. Okay. It takes real commitment to learn the truth and to change. Healing begins when we truly face our problems and pain is the category of that. Now, conscious feelings must be present. You can't be drinking or high on drugs, it ain't gonna happen. Conscious feeling must be present or healing cannot come. You have to be aware, alert, responsive, sensitive, and not numb with alcohol or drugs, or drunk with power and control and revenge, or evil that would come. And some people are drunk with power and control. What happens to that? People that are drunk with power and control, they just want to win. They don't want to solve problems. You know why? Because most of the time they are the problem. They just want to win the argument. And what they use, look at my degrees, look at my credentials. So what? Are you any good? I don't care what your degrees or credentials, or even experience. Are you any good? That's what I want to know. To find healing, avoid experiences which will eliminate or prevent healing, like addiction, bad friendships, and so on. Courage, our integrity determines what we really are and who we say or pretend to be. A lot of people pretend to be good people, but they're not. Two personal rewards that comes from integrity. We have integrity, that's the confidence we give others and the inner peace we bring to ourselves. Integrity. Our integrity determines what we really are, who we really are, not who we say we are. And guess what? People love and have confidence in others who have integrity. Why? Because you can be, you're dependable, you're reliable, you're even predictable. You can depend on you because you have integrity. Beliefs, you know what you believe. Okay, our beliefs greatly influence our attitude, our actions towards people and others. Either positive or negative. Bad beliefs constrain us, they can shackle us to our past. And some people don't like their past, but they drag that past everywhere they go. They want to go of it. You got to sharpen your skills so you can cut that past. It has to be done. There'll be some sorrow in it, I can promise you that. Good and true beliefs motivate and inspire us to find positive solutions to our problems. I think I told you this. What is life all about? All life is, every day of your life, every hour of your life, you're going to have to learn to solve your problems. That's all life is. Learning how to solve your problems. The moment we stop solving our problems is the moment we now become the problem. Because we're not solving our problems anymore. That's why we have therapists and counselors to help us solve our problems. When you learn how to solve your problem, guess what? You're now becoming responsible. And responsibility is a sign of maturity. You're finally growing up because you're solving your own problems. And if you don't solve your problems, you know people that like to complain, blame, whine, criticize, condemn. And I always joke with my fathers. You can be the best kisser in the whole United States, but if you blame, complain, all that kind of stuff, your kisses don't mean very much. No. Learn to solve problems. And when you learn to solve problems, guess what? People want to be around you. Because you take care of things. Okay? 31 minutes. Good. At some point, beliefs turn into faith. A faith is more than simple believing. What faith? Any English majors in here? What's faith? It's a what? It's a verb. Action. It's not just believe. Like I see, my wife and I, one reason why we get along so well because she has her own TV, I have my own TV. We can't watch TV together because I flip through channels and she can't stand it. So she has her own television, I have my own TV. I was going through channels one day. I heard this one reverend out of the church was from. He said, "Just believe, you believe you'll be saved." Is that true? No. You got to put forth the effort. Work towards it. You just can't believe. If someone says you just believe, he's misleading you. Be a lover of truth. Ask the question: is that all I need just to believe? Faith is action. Your beliefs will turn into faith. It's action. You do something about it. Under compassion, it motivates you to do something about it. Now, faith is putting your beliefs into action. That's what it really is. Okay? So we want our fathers and mothers to put their beliefs into action. Learn how to solve your own problems. Faith first is a decision. I'm going to go this way or that way. It's a decision. Then, second, it's an action. Even when the future seems uncertain and hopeless. Both are required. Faith motivates and inspires us to do good things. Faith must be nurtured and exercised daily or to grow to keep it strong. We need to study, practice, and simply work at it. Faith can change your life, the way you think, the way you feel, and what you do. I work with a lot of young people who have addiction issues. Ever heard the term falling off the wagon? Ever heard that term before? Why does someone fall off the wagon? Anybody know? From my experience, I know why people fall off the wagon and why? Because they haven't changed the way they think. They keep thinking the same way. They keep doing the same thing over and over again. You got to change the way you think. You know what? The hardest thing you'll ever do in your life, the hardest thing you'll ever do for yourself is to control your thoughts. That's hard. But guess what? It is possible. When you learn to control your thought, guess what you become? You become a master of yourself. But you have to learn to control your own thoughts, and that's hard to do. Faith can change your life. The way you think, the way you feel, what you do. Faith can bring spiritual guidance to help us through the challenges of life. Now, forgiveness. What's forgiveness? Remember I said, people pray for miracles. Miracles do happen. But the greatest miracle of life is called forgiveness. Learn to forgive others who have offended you, and learn to forgive yourself. And people can't do this. They can forgive other people, but they can't forgive themselves. Let's learn to do both. Forgive others and learn to forgive ourselves. That's the real miracle of life. Forgiveness is not forgiveness is a process that lies in repentance and restitution. People were to our mothers and fathers. I want them to change. Repentance. Remorse. You feel bad, I hurt you. Okay? Feeling bad for and understanding the hurt you have caused. And you have to admit you have done something wrong. Yes, I admit it. Sometimes when people admit something is when they get caught. Then they go crying around because they got caught. Not because they feel bad, because they got caught. Willingness to forsake or stop the wrongdoing. Attempting to make things right. We spend hours on these things. I'm just going very, very quickly, people. I'm sorry, but we go through this very in detail. People understand it. Restitution. Honest attempt to restore what is fair and correct. And if there's something really bad, you just take someone's life, you can't restore life. What you got to do is you have every attempt to live a good life. And there's a long process of that. Restitution eases the pains of those who you have injured. Willingness to change our old ways for a better, improved life. We think about restitution. One thing you cannot do, nor can I. We do not have the power, the ability to change anybody. You can't change anybody. You can encourage them. You can even inspire them, but you can't change anybody. You can't even change your own kids. The only person you can change is yourself. That's it. Now, let's say someone has offended you, or you offended somebody else. If there's an honest attempt, I quote your name again, I'm sorry. Kimberly. Let's say I hurt Kimberly. Let's say I hurt her. I've got to make every attempt to try to work that out, where I try to work that through. Now, if Kimberly doesn't want to forgive me, I have no control over that. But if I made every attempt to try to make things right, make things correct, guess what happens? I'm off the hook. The honest attempt has to be made. And just saying, I'm sorry, it ain't good. It's a good step in the right direction, but that's not enough. I have to make honest attempt to try to repay or redeem myself to this beautiful young lady. But again, if she doesn't choose to do it, if an honest attempt has been made, I'm off the hook. And that's where we're going to have a lot of instructions. Because some people will drag that pain with them everywhere they go. to move across the country, move around the world, try to get rid of that pain. You gotta know how to cover. That's why sharpen your skills so you can sever that relationship from the pain you have. Now, repentance is more about mercy, restitution more about justice, and they can't override each other. When repentance and restitution come together, guess what happens? You have a peace of conscience, a peace of conscience, and a peace of what? A peace of mind. You've transformed yourself from the old you to a new you. You may look the same, laugh the same, but your mind and heart has changed. You're not the same person anymore. You're a different person. And that's why a lot of people don't understand these basic elements of change. Peace of conscience, being free from guilt, shame, sorrow, misery, and other self-condemnations. Peace of mind brings freedom from the mental stress, anxiety, worries, relationships, social and economic problems, and pressures. 3 types of healing. It's physical, emotional, and spiritual. Physical healing. Pain will come. Remember, he said that pain will come. You must understand that pain is part of life. Honest attempt to restore what is fair and correct. And if there's something really bad and you take someone's life, you can't restore life. What you got to do is you have every attempt to live a good life. And there's a long process of that. Restitution eases the pains of those who you have injured. Willingness to change our old ways for a better, approved life. We think about restitution. One thing you cannot do, nor can I. We do not have the power, the ability to change anybody. You can't change anybody. You can encourage them. You can even inspire them, but you can't change anybody. You can't even change your own kids. The only person you can change is yourself. That's it. Now, let's say somebody has offended you, or you offended somebody else. If there's an honest attempt, let's say I quote your name, I'm sorry. Kimberly. Let's say I hurt Kimberly. Let's say I hurt her. I've got to make every attempt to try to work that out, where I try to work that through. Now, if Kimberly doesn't want to forgive me, I have no control over that. But if I made every attempt to try to make things right, make things correct, guess what happens? I'm off the hook. The honest attempt has to be made. And just saying, I'm sorry, it ain't good. It's a good step in the right direction, but that's not enough. I have to make honest attempt to try to repay or redeem myself to this beautiful young lady. But again, you choose to do it. If an honest attempt has been made, I'm off the hook. And that's where we're going to have a lot of instructions. Because some people will drag that pain with them everywhere they go. They move across the country, move around the world, try to get rid of that pain. You got to know how to cover. That's why sharpen your skills so you can sever that relationship from the pain you have. Now, repentance is more about mercy, restitution more about justice. And they can't override each other. When repentance and restitution come together, guess what happens? You have a peace of conscience, a peace of conscience, and a peace of what? A peace of mind. You've transformed yourself from the old you to a new you. You may look the same, laugh the same, but your mind and heart has changed. You're not the same person anymore. You're a different person. And that's why a lot of people don't understand these basic elements of change. Peace of conscience, being free from guilt, shame, sorrow, misery, and other self-condemnations. Peace of mind brings freedom from the mental stress, anxiety, worries, relationships, social and economic problems, and pressures. 3 types of healing. It's physical, emotional, and spiritual. Physical healing. Pain will come. Remember, he said that pain will come. You must understand that pain is part of life. Pain should never be wasted. It must go towards building our character and integrity. I would like to give an experience by myself. Years ago, when I was a young man, I was in a car fire. I was burned, different parts of my body, my legs were burned, 3rd-degree burns. And every morning and evening, the nurse would come in and scrape it, because the blood would come to the surface of my body, and have to scrape that blood, dry blood off my body. It was so painful. Well, one morning the nurse came in, "Hi, Mr. Pooley, all bubbly personality," and I said, "I know what she was there for." And I said, "Ma'am," I said, "Can you just," I said, "my leg looks pretty good. Can we just skip that until this evening?" She said, "No, Mr. Pooley, we've got to cut the strip of dry blood off your body." I said, "You have no idea how much that hurts." She said, I know. So I started to get angry with her. I started to say things I shouldn't have said. What she does, she comes to my bedside. I love this lady. She comes to my bedside, she gets my hand, and she holds my hand. She says, "Listen, Mr. Pooley, please listen to me. Please listen to me." She calmed me down. And you know what? She says, "You must be thankful for the pain in your leg." And I said, "What are you talking about? You have no idea how painful this is. I want you to be thankful for the pain in your leg." She says, "Let me tell you why. Because when the pain is gone, it means your leg is dead. We've got to amputate it. When there's pain there, it tells me your leg is still alive. So be thankful for the pain you have in your leg." When I go to prisons, a place where people cry, I love it because it tells me they're still alive, they're still feeling. When they quit crying, that's when I get worried. So when you cry, I love to make people, I can cry if I want to cry. I'm pretty good at it, believe it or not. When you cry, why do you think kids cry so soft, so easily? Because their spirits are soft, tender, and open. So crying, there's a reason for that. They're still alive. There's still hope. Pain should never be wasted. It must go towards building our character and integrity. Emotional healing. A person must truly feel the need to heal. If conscious feelings are not present, healing cannot come. The heartaches we carry may be caused by others. I can read that. The heartaches we carry may be caused by others, misdeeds, and mistakes. Or mistakes we do ourselves. Spiritual healing requires a real desire to find and understand truth. Truth is the key right there. This allows us to receive the light of hope in times of darkness. Brings the power of compassion and understanding. Spiritual healing. Healing is personal, private, and sacred. Personal. No one can assume the responsibilities for our healing. Nobody can assume that. Mothers and fathers, you love your kids dearly, but you can't assume their healing. It has to be personal. Private. Much of our healing we will do by ourselves within the privacy of our own mind and heart. And you may cry yourself to sleep, but that's part of the healing process. It's private. It's personal. Sacred. Why do I say sacred? It's a special relationship between you and the Creator God. Why? Because God, the Creator, is the master healer. The master healer is the Creator. He has the power to change our hearts and minds, to give us permanent feelings, relief from sorrow, shame, guilt, and pain. He guides and clarifies, prepares us for the miracle of forgiveness of ourselves and others who offended. Divine intervention is very important. I wish we had time over to you. Just don't have time. Healing and forgiveness transforms us into a new person. You will not have the mind to injure or harm yourself or others, but have the heart and capacity to help others. You become a healer by bringing the spirit of goodness to others, by helping them in the healing process. Understand every day someone in your path is afraid, lonely, hurt, angry, and may just need a friend. I tell my fathers and mothers this: use your experience to heal people. Now, one of our young Native Americans want to be traditional. They have long hair, they sing songs, they dance. That's wonderful. I think it's great. But I tell them, if you really call yourself traditional, I'm going to to tell you something that's really traditional among our people. Oh, I'm not talking to men now. Men, if you really are traditional, all women, regardless of their age, their race, all women must feel safe in your presence. Simple as that. Nobody teaches that. We do. So if you really call yourself traditional, it's not the language you speak, not the food you eat, not the color of your skin, the length of your hair. All women should feel safe in your presence. Physically safe, emotionally safe, and spiritually safe. And don't settle for anything else. True healing brings the gift of gratitude and humility. I tell this is real native medicine. Gratitude and humility, when they come together and mix, it flips on the lights in your life. You can see things much more clearer because you're grateful. Ever been with a person that's just bitter? Is it fun to work with a person that's bitter? Or worse yet, live with a person that's bitter? A person that's bitter, you can diagnose them really fast. You know what? They're not very grateful. They think somebody owes them something. They're not grateful. When you bring humility and gratitude together, it happened to my grandmother. Years ago, when I was a young boy, I lived on the reservation. I had to herd sheep. I hated herding sheep. I didn't like it. I can't hide from grandma. I swear grandma can smell you. You can't hide from grandma. Anyway, one morning, we never had running water in an outhouse. Well, my grandma had a row of tamarack bushes right there. So I just, instead of going to the outhouse, I just watered her tamarack bushes in the morning. Anyway, one morning while they're watering my grandmother's tamarack bushes, she comes out early in the morning before the sun comes up. And she has a bag of corn pollen. They call it now chagating. You get that and you pray with her before the sun's coming up. And she had this corn pollen. She started praying in the morning. She didn't know I could hear her and see her. And you know what she said? She thanked the Creator God for sunlight. I thought, that's so stupid. That's stupid. Who thanks the Creator God for sunlight? Then she thanked Him for the air we had to breathe. She thanked Him for the food we had to eat, the water we had to drink, and the Mother Earth to live on. I really thought my grandmother was playing with a full deck of cards. Something was wrong with her. Now that I'm older, my grandmother understood something that I didn't understand at the time. But she understood her nothingness. She's literally nothing without sunlight, without air, without water, without food, without earth. She's nothing. That's humility. When you understand you need a loving and caring mother and a loving and caring father. People say, I don't need that. Yes, you do. You're a fool. There's a lot of fools sitting out there. They think they can do it on their own. You can't. You need good friends you can rely on and depend on. We need each other. You start thinking you can walk through life on your own, you're a fool. You're a flat-out fool. So again, reach out to people that need your help, that need friends. Now, because humility means when you really understand you need the Creator in your life. Because you're literally nothing without Him. And I said, I'm teaching you Native American 101. You'll never hear that in university, I promise you that. Okay, that's our contact information. I have a few minutes left over. Does anybody have any questions? I can keep going on. Any comments, questions?
Excellent.
Let me say one thing about before we go on. Okay, 10 minutes, right? All right. We tell the people this. We have a class on suicide prevention. We talk about, you know what? We tell our Native brothers and sisters. There's two parts of us. One is the body that's mortal, mortality. Right here. And the other part of us is spirit. We can't see it, but it's there. Every tribe, I've worked with over 400 tribes throughout my career, professional career, over 50 years. Every single tribe from From Maine to Hawaii, from Alaska to Florida, from Prince Edward Island, Canada, all the way to the Yukon. Every tribe believes in the Spirit. Everyone. Every living thing has a spirit. Every plant, every vegetation, every insect, every animal is a spirit. So I teach my people this, they understand it. As you know what, there's two parts of this. One calls the mortal body, one calls spirit. When they mix and come together, that's called the soul of a person. When the body and spirit come together. But the spirit and body should complement each other. They don't always complement each other. They fight sometimes. And I'll use my wife as an example. My wife is a diabetic. But oh, does she love her chocolate? She loves chocolate like crazy. And if there's a chocolate pie there, a chocolate cake, her spirit says, don't eat it. And her body says, go for it. Who's going to win? Most of the time, it's the body that wins. Now, you ever heard the term when somebody dies, they're at rest? You know why they're at rest? Because the spirit's making all the decisions. It's not fighting with the body no more. It's making all the decisions. And it's happy because it's making the right decisions. So what we got to do is learn how the body and spirit work together in harmony, because the body and spirits have limitations. The body has limitations. If the body leaves, if the spirit leaves the body dies and it goes in the grave. But the spirit keeps it alive. But the spirit has limitations too. The spirit can't pick up a cup, for an example. A spirit can't have children. It needs a body to carry out that function. So they should complement each other. Now the body needs work and exercise to become strong. What's the spiritual work? The spiritual work is this, is to uncover and find the truth. And you may have to go against your own religion, go against your own traditions, go against science. What is the truth? If you really want to change, we must be lovers of truth. And that's why who's the father or the author of truth? It's the Creator. Ask Him, don't ask me, ask Him. But sometimes you don't do that, we just go like a sheep. Just follow along. Everybody thought I was a sheep herder one time. And I hated that. And we never had running water, we had pumps. So I remember I run a horse every day, twice a day, we're running sheep. Anyway, I had to ride around these sheep and I go to the water. I'm going to pump really fast to get the water truck full of water. And the sheep can't smell water. I promise they'll run for the water. And I'm pumping the water as quick as I can to fill those troughs up full of water. And the sheep, the fastest get there, they drink all the water and they just stand there. They just stand there. Other sheep are trying to jump on and get the water, they just stand there. They don't care whether sheep are thirsty. So I have to get up and get them and get these, so I throw sheep off. Get off, so they can all drink water. And one day it dawned on me. I thought, these sheep are so stubborn. They're stupid. They're selfish. And finally it dawned on me, maybe that's why Christ calls us a bunch of sheep. Because we're so selfish. We're so stubborn. We don't want to change. That's a nice way of saying, dumb, stupid, selfish people, we just call us a bunch of sheep. We have to look out for each other, people. Some people need water, we gotta let them drink. Some people need food, we gotta feed them. I'm gonna compliment you for doing what you're doing. I'd like to have you look at our organization, Native American Father and Family Association, as a resource in their area. Please learn about us. We'd love to have some of you come from other countries and come to Arizona. And I'll show you Indian country, I'll show it to you real well. We're brothers, we're sisters, we're family. That's what we are. You have different languages, different shades of skin, different traditions, but that's okay, we're all not the same. We're trying to make one big giant person. If we make one big giant, let's become a good, decent, honorable person.